I'm making a Spotify radio streamer using a Raspberry Pi, and in this episode we're going to be adding the LCD screen. It's going to be awesome. Things are going to go really badly and you're going to ruin everything. Go home, future self. You ruin everything. I guess that means I just ruined everything. Brommel Rabble once said, "I was always lucky and my bad luck." And man, this project really took a turn for the worse. Okay, let's see where we left off. So far, we've added an audio output to the Raspberry Pi and made our own homebrew amp for it. But you know, I'll be the first to tell you, sometimes my ideas are not the best. And the homebrew amp idea just wasn't cutting it.
Tinkernut, why would you need to make anything? Surely you can just buy an audio output.
How about that? Maybe past self should have listened to future self. So I settled upon two alternatives, the PAM 8403 or the Adafruit Max 98357. The PAM 8403 is a stereo amplifier, so if you want your finished product to be stereo, then you can totally go that route. And then the Adafruit Max 98357 is a mono amplifier that doesn't require an audio output source from the Raspberry Pi Zero. So if you decide to go that route, you can get rid of all the circuitry that we created from the previous two videos. But that would be really sad. So I actually created a circuit board using both of these different amplifiers, and they both worked great. But the benefit of both of these audio amp options is that you can power them through the Raspberry Pi Zero. So now we can move on to the LCD. And it's a 1.8 inch TFT screen. You can go with a larger screen if you want, but again, I'm trying to make a minimal sized radio, so 1.8 inches is all I need. Here's a wiring diagram for connecting the LCD to the Raspberry Pi Zero, and as you can see, it doesn't require any extra components. And it doesn't really conflict with anything that we've already added to the Raspberry Pi. So adding a new pin set to our circuit board, we can now connect everything up to the Raspberry Pi Zero, the audio amp as well as the LCD screen. To activate this specific type of Adafruit LCD screen, you can run these simple mod probe commands to get it up and running. Then you can download an image and run this command to display it on the LCD screen. So now we got the audio working, we got the LCD screen working, now let's add some Spotify. The software that I'm going to be using for connecting the Raspberry Pi to Spotify is called moppy. So moppy offers a lot of different ways of playing and streaming music, and one of those ways is Spotify. So you have to install the Spotify client for moppy, and then you can add your Spotify credentials to the moppy Spotify file. Then it's as simple as starting up moppy using this command. But now, how do you control the Spotify music? Well, moppy also incorporates a music player daemon or MPD. And MPD has multiple different clients across multiple different platforms. So it's just a matter of downloading an MPD client and pointing it to your Raspberry Pi's IP address, and then you should be able to play music from Spotify. So far, so good. Now let's work on the album art. What could possibly go wrong? It's not gonna work. So this part is definitely still a work in progress, but you can follow the updates to the code on the project page. Basically, I had to create a Python script from scratch that imports this MPD Python library and connects to the MPD server on the Raspberry Pi. So using this library, you can therefore get the artist name and the name of the song that's playing. So then we want to use that information and go online and find the album art for that song. To do that, I created a Last.fm account and used Last.fm to search for the album art and then display it on the LCD screen. So that's basically an oversimplified version of what I did. Now you can start up moppy, get a song playing, and while that's running, you can open up another terminal and run the Python script to see if it works. This is where things get bad. So by itself, the audio works great, and by itself, the LCD screen works great. But when you try to get them both to work together, I Googled and racked my brain for days on this one. I took everything apart, put it back together multiple times. Still, I could not for the life of me figure out why these two weren't working together. But what it boils down to is this: GPIO pin number 18. We set this pin up specifically to use as audio output, but whenever we did those little mod probe commands to enable the LCD screen, it switched that pin over to be used for the backlight. Yes, even though we're not using it to control the backlight, it switched it over anyway. So yes, future self was right. It was a nightmare. And to fix it, all you have to do is type this command. Now we should be able to run the moppy server and the Python script, and it should all work together. Okay, now that all that's over, we still have a few more things to do, but I'm gonna save that for the finale of this project, which is in a couple weeks. In the meantime, I need to decide on what type of radio case that I want to use, and I've narrowed it down to these two designs. So if you don't mind, use this little poll that's up here somewhere on your YouTube video and vote on which one you would like me to use. Alright, if you have any ideas you'd like to share, you can submit or vote for your favorites at tinkernut.com/ideas. Click here to watch more videos like this, and if you got any value out of my show and would like to give some value back, please consider liking, subscribing, following me on social media, or donating at tinkernut.com/donate. Alright, that's it for this tutorial. For more, go to tinkernut.com.